Welcome to the Dawgs Only podcast. This is OG Rod. I'm very excited. I got my big three here with me today. Charley, Corey, and D-Hop, the specialists. Our big three.
Wow, I'm honored.
I like that analogy.
I'm honored.
Yeah.
Man.
Come on.
I've never heard that one, but
Might be a reach, but
yeah. We'll walk in it. We'll walk in it.
Let's kick things off, man. How was the off season?
Good, man.
Any special trips?
Nah, man. We get back down to Florida, and once we get the kids packed up and settled, man, we're there. We don't. I don't know. It's a hassle, you know. It's a whole thing trying to get kids on a plane going somewhere. So we're just happy to be home and enjoy the family, enjoy the friends down there, and we get settled.
Yeah.
well, we just got a place out in Denver, so we were busy setting that up.
Okay.
Went out to Hawaii like we do every summer, go visit some family.
All right.
But besides that, chilling, setting up the house.
New home, new money. We'll get on that later. No worries.
And then we laid pretty low too. We had a baby. It's easy for me to say we laid low. My wife's like, yeah, I was doing some work there, you know. But yeah, we had a baby. He's 5 months and some change now.
Yeah.
So that kept us busy. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then we did one of those kind of rough kids, like a 4-day trip where travel was, you know, not the best. But
Yeah.
no, it was good. It was good.
You're go ahead, Chuck.
We actually did. We did take a trip. I forgot. we went to Arizona. So we did the union meetings out there, and we brought the kids and we took them up to the Grand Canyon. And it was about 3.5 hours north of where we were at in Scottsdale. And we took all three of them up there, got there, and realized there was no guardrails. So my daughter's trying to run away. I'm trying to snag her hand. We ended up having to strap up the little one on my wife's back and put her in the stroller. She's 4 and way too tall for the stroller, but I had to just strap her up because she was about to freaking run right off the edge of that thing. And she just kept saying, well, Dad, you'll come get me. And I'm like, I don't know if there's any come getting you. It's like a 2-mile drop or whatever it is. It was terrifying. So, yeah, word to the wise, wait till your kids are a little older, take them to the Grand Canyon. Yeah.
See, I just stepped into fatherhood, right? Baby girls, 2 months to date.
Let's go.
Yeah, but those flights kind of add up a little bit, right? After age 2, I hear.
Yeah. When they're real young, they tend to just sleep on you.
Yeah.
It's like, I'd say it's like 1.5, 2. They start getting a little more active. Like, for instance, to Arizona, my youngest was around 1.5. And he was at that screeching phase where he was just screeching the entire time. He did it the entire flight, like 4.5, 5 hours. I felt bad for everybody around us, but it just was what it was. We couldn't do anything about it. The other 2, they're at the age where you give them some snacks, give them a coloring book. They're good. But yeah, no, the youngest.
Screen time, they're good to go.
Yeah, the youngest he was brutal on that one.
Travel now.
Right.
Now.
Yeah.
Sleep on the plane.
Max it out.
I got an example for you. Ready? This is this past trip I mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a very confrontational person. In general, I will if I have to, but I'm not really confrontational. We get on the plane, and one of the first ones on there, I'm holding the baby. He's crying like loudly. My oldest is having a tough time in the seat too. So we're making, as a family, we're making a lot of noise. You know what I'm saying? They haven't. I don't know if y'all have noticed this here recently. I feel like planes are hotter than they've ever been.
Oh my
when
God,
you first step on.
Yes.
I'm like, there needs to be a regulation. I don't know. Anyway, I'm sweating my shirt out. We got babies crying. And I'm like bouncing to try to like, and it's not helping, but I'm just like sticking with it. Maybe it'll eventually work. And a guy slides in front of me, and he turns to somebody next to him, and he's like loudly, it was like, "It's gonna be a long flight, huh?" And I was like, I guess dad mode clicked on. I was like, "Hey, it's not too late. Now's the time." It was on an airline that you could choose your seat.
Okay.
Seats were not assigned.
Okay.
So I was like, "Hey, it's not too late, buddy." I was like, move now because it might be a long flight, but you have a choice right now. You're not going to hurt our feelings if you choose to move. You know, so it's like one of those moments where it's like you're sweating, you're tired, you're a dad, and you're like, hey, make the decision.
Yeah.
You know,
if you want the whole row to yourself, bring the child.
Oh yeah. It was a family of 4 in one row.
Yeah. Lovely. So we're on the topic of obviously fatherhood, and we're in the midst of training camp right now. We all know the daily grind, the physicality that exists for training camp. It's very challenging on us. But as fathers, right, and as you go off into training camp or even throughout the season, how hard is it during those days where you're counting down to that moment where you have to report, or even just throughout the season when you leave your home and that time is now lost, as fathers, and those moments we all cherish, we unfortunately miss. So talk to us a little bit about how you guys have dealt with that and how does it feel for you now?
I mean, it's definitely difficult. I mean, you packing up, leaving your family. I mean, now that we're older, camp's a little different. We get to go home at night, once we're back. But honestly, I would argue it's harder on the moms. I mean, they're there grinding all by themselves. And, I'm FaceTiming her, trying to FaceTime her at least twice a day, talk to her and just get her mind off things a little bit. But, yeah, it's a challenge, man. She's got 3 on her own. Trying to keep them all entertained, keep them all from cracking their head open on the floor. Like, that's a job, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely try to take advantage of the off season. When I'm maybe taking an hour or 2 out of the day to just go work out, do whatever, and the rest of the time I'm a dad. Nothing else matters. And it's also time for my wife to have a little bit of a break because during training camp and season, like, she's the one that handles the baby. Especially like at night if she wakes up, like, she always handles it, so I can be rested up to go to work and stuff. How she does it, couldn't tell you. It's off days during the season is my day to be, my dad or be the dad, and she gets to go out and do whatever, and it's exhausting. Honestly, I give her a lot of praise, and you guys with multiple kids, I mean,
the wives are built different, man. Like
Different.
the level of patience,
That is real.
they're built differently.
Come
for
on,
sure.
let's give them their praise.
Like I shared with y'all yesterday, is like, man, the amount of sacrifice that moms have to go through physically, one, and then mentally and emotionally. I think it's just a different type of load than we have to take on as fathers in a lot of different ways. So, hey, thank you. I think I speak for all of us. Thank y'all.
Yeah.
Back at home.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, women, I mean, they're superheroes. Moms are superheroes. I've gained a deeper level of respect for all moms after witnessing, what I observed for, over the course of these 10 months up until, that date. And even now, just seeing how much they have to sacrifice. And the job is never over, right? It's a full-time
24
job
hours a day,
that
man.
we've all signed up for. But even more so in this profession, right, that most of the time it takes up, we're away. And now the responsibility lies on these women and our wives. So I think it's important for you to get the right teammate, right? Like, the right teammate, because not every woman understands what is required and what is asked of us, as an athlete, and how much they truly have to give and be very respectful of, our time, responsibilities, and day to day. So, I salute, our wives, for being that backbone for us, when we need them. And honestly, I would say probably the best teammate that I've had to date.
That's right.
No doubt. No
Good
doubt.
answer. No, but yeah, you're absolutely right, man. I tell younger guys, they'll ask me when they find out I've been married for a while. They're like, so, they're asking questions about marriage. And I'm like, man, when you find the right woman, and like, thank the Lord I have, it's the best decision I've ever made outside of becoming a believer. It's like, it's the best decision you can make is what I tell guys. Yeah. I was like, but if you find the wrong one, it could be one of the worst decisions you've ever made. So
it makes or breaks your life, man. It's the most important decision you make in your life. Like, it's your partner for life, So, no, like, who you settle down with, like, that's the key to your happiness, man. Like, and guys ask me about that all the time too, and they're like, they'll even like ask what it's like to have kids, and I'm like, would you recommend having kids young, waiting a little bit, like whatever? And I'm like, well, that's obviously up to you, but I will tell you, like, it does not make this job any easier. Like, we've got to sleep at night. that's when we, recover. And when you've got an infant, man, like the sleep, it's not always there. And I don't know about y'all, but I've never slept the same since I've had kids. Like even now that we're not really in the infant stage anymore, like it never went back. Like I'm still like just like alert. Like I'll hear some little noise, like I'm up. Yeah. And it just from that aspect alone definitely makes the job a little bit more difficult.
So we've obviously we're on the subject of ball. And for a lot of viewers, they may not know you guys' journey. You can give us a little snapshot to share as much as you want or as little, but just tell us, how did you guys arrive to where you are today? Have you always dreamt of being an NFL kicker, punter, long snapper? Like, tell us about your football journey.
So I started playing football when I was 8. I don't ever remember a time where I just didn't like love football. Like I've always been obsessed with it. I grew up watching my cousins play. Like I think that's kind of what spurred it in my head, but that's like before I even had memory. So it's just always been in my head. Grew up as a tight end, played through high school as a tight end, played a little bit of center my senior year, but mostly tight end. Went to college, went to UCF. Started snapping my junior year, just kind of as like a side gig, And when I went to UCF as a walk-on, it was be backup tight end, backup snapper, like whatever. But like 2 weeks before freshman camp, our snapper had graduated the year before. So the rising junior that was going to slated to be the snapper kind of just quit the team. Not sure what happened. So there's an open spot. And they asked me to go out for it, ended up getting it. And then kind of once I got that spot, coach called me in and said, "You're not going to play tight end anymore. You're going to be our scholarship snapper." So that was kind of how that worked out. I was just happy to have a scholarship. So I was cool with it. But yeah, and then from there just kind of took off. Certainly never thought I'd be in the league, that's for sure.
So walk on in college. I read something that said you also had an offer from Brown. Is that?
Yeah. So I got recruited by a lot of 1AA schools, and Brown was one of the ones that came knocking on the door. As soon as I figured out they didn't give out scholarships and how expensive that school was, I kind of exited off for me. But yeah, no, I mean that would have been really cool, obviously, but I don't think I would have been a snapper there. So I think it ended up working out.
Yeah. Everything works out the way it's supposed to. How was that as a walk-on in college? What was that experience like?
Well, I was only a walk-on, I guess, for like my first summer semester. So I quickly got a scholarship. So it's different though. Like I remember like definitely feeling a little inferior. Like you kind of had to have like a prove it mentality. You were always like comparing yourself to the guys that had scholarships, and you just wanted to be one of those guys. Like I remember just like wanting to get a scholarship. That was my only thought. And then once kind of that opportunity arrived to take the snapper route, I was just happy to do it. Like I was happy to get on scholarship and not have to take on debt or put that on my parents or whatever. So I was happy to do it.
Can I ask a follow-up question? I know this is your
podcast. Do your thing.
You said you never thought you'd be in the league. I've never asked you this. At what point did you think that you're like, oh, I got a shot? Like,
it was like spring going into my senior year. We had a really good punter who played in the league for a couple years, and we had a scout. The scout was just over there watching me snap and him punt, and I remember thinking like, oh, he's just watching the punter, And my buddy like tapped me, and he's like, no, he's watching you. He's timing your snaps. He's watching you. And I was like, no, he's not. And figured out he was, so that kind of like opened my eyes. I was like, oh shoot, like this, I might have a chance to do this. And at the time I was just like trying to get through school on scholarship, and my plan at the time was to go to dental school. So I was like, studying up for my exams and trying to make good grades and everything. And, over the next couple months, I kind of realized like that plan was going to be pushed back a little bit. So I was going to see how long football would take me. So
here we are 30 years later.
You'd be a big dentist, man.
everybody
big
said
hands
that.
in somebody's mouth.
Everybody said that. It was a bit of the, it was kind of the family occupation. So I decided I'd just kind of follow in the footsteps. Yeah.
So, as a long snapper, right, in the NFL, like, what are teams looking for as a long snapper? Like, what are the keys to success, and for you having as long as career as you have, right? Like, what separates you from the rest?
I mean, obviously, like accuracy, and the ball's got to get there in a certain amount of time. So you got to be accurate. It's got to be relatively fast, not too fast, because that tends to freak some punters out. But I would say the next thing is probably protection. Like, you got to be able to block. Like, you can't just be getting run over. You're going to get punts blocked, field goals blocked, whatever it is. So you got to be able to block. You got to be able to cover decently well. Some guys cover better than others.
What would you rate your coverage?
Man, I'm gonna put myself right in the middle, man.
But the tight end back. Oh, we got a special guest. Special guest. We were just talking about tight ends too, right? The tight end background that you had allows you to be able to block at an elite level.
Yeah, I just came when I heard that he was going to be a dentist. That's kind of probably one of the scariest dentists I've ever seen.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing that football worked out.
I mean, it's not too late, but
it is too late, man. I'm 34 years old. Dental school's 4 years. Nah, it's too late.
Nah, it's never really too late.
It's too late. It's too late for me.
PA covered that tuition.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Free.
What's up, Rod? How you doing,
What's
man?
up, man? What's good?
Good to see you, bro.
Appreciate you joining the set.
What's up?
Yeah.
You doing all right, buddy?
This is live?
You lose your shirt?
Yeah, we on.
Are we on, baby?
Yeah.
No, I found it.
Oh, gotcha.
What you got? What you got for? What's the word?
This is for the people.
I was walking.
That's a gift.
I just finished Oxygen, right? And I saw Dom, and he told me about this great podcast that you have, and I was like, I gotta come.
Come on.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So we're gonna get a special one-on-one with David Njoku. Is that coming up? Is that soon?
You're the boss. You tell me what to do, and I'm doing it.
All right.
Well, maybe part
30
of
for
that.
30.
I know part of that, when I got hurt, Dave was trying to come in and kick a little bit.
You want me to try, Kev? Kev, you want me to try it?
So maybe that's
That
you
is
got
true.
the honorary invite.
I forgot about that. That is true. Kevin wasn't having it, though.
No, I don't want you to kick. I'm strong. Let me kick that point. Out of your mind.
I don't know why. Like, I can kick.
Hey, there might be some room for you this
Not
year.
as good as you, but I can definitely kick. And if it's gonna help a team, I'm all for it. Guess
Man, this is great.
We're looking for somebody, potentially the new kickoff rules and everything. You could be that guy
Yeah, jump out there.
to do what? You said to kick or
to kick.
Kick off and
Yeah, and then go make the tackle.
I'm an offensive guy.
Oh wait, time out. Ho. The offensive guy. What that?
No offense.
Bro, I see you wrestle. In
Yeah, that's
the locker
only
room.
when I get mad, but I'm not mad all the time. Don't get me mad. Don't do that. I can tell you you're gonna start pushing buttons. No, I see you coming. Don't do it. All right. Well,
You gonna
huh?
I mean, we got space.
I don't know if it's Charlie.
No, there's no room here.
No, for sure. No, thanks for having me. I just wanted to come by and say hi to the guys and to the fans, beautiful fans. Yeah. See ya.
Man, come on, man. That's
Thanks,
a
Dave.
blessing.
Thanks,
Let us know what's for dinner.
What a blessing.
The pleasure. All right. Newest. We got some competition. You got some competition.
Dave, let me keep this job, all right? Let me have this. I'll let you keep tight end.
Fair enough.
Thank you.
All right. Now we on the Corey, your journey.
I don't recommend this route. Okay. It's not fair.
Noted.
Growing up, no interest in football. I played baseball. That was my thing. Huge Dodgers fan. That's what I wanted to do.
Position.
I was kind of all over. End of my playing at like 13, I was center field. I was I would argue, the best hitter on the team at the time. But just got burnt out Wasn't doing it anymore. Just started playing soccer after that again, like I did when I was younger. Going into high school, playing soccer. My sophomore year, after the season, we're basically just conditioning, getting ready for the next season. And I'm not having it. I don't like to run. While I'm kicking the ball, sure. Besides that, I don't run. Hence why I'm a punter. I don't have to do anything. And the punter at the time was graduating. He was top 2, 3 in the country, real good punter. And they had an open spot, and usually, they always come ask the soccer team who wants to kick and punt. And so I was like, I talked to my coach, can I get out of practice to go do this? And he was like, sure. That was the end of it. I don't have to run anymore, and I can just go kick a ball. So trained with him for a couple months, got the job, and never looked back,
I know. Well, I know the process wasn't just a straight line, to where you are right now.
Yeah, I almost stopped playing a couple times. Coming out of high school, I was All-State my senior year, and was going to go to Sacramento State. Somewhat, 6 hours away or so, kind of close to home, not too bad. But Cal Poly San Luis Obispo also had some interest, and they're a real good engineering school, and that's kind of what I wanted to go to school for. So towards the end of my senior year, I called Sacramento State. I'm like, hey, sorry, I'm going, not even football reasons, just education-wise. I want to go here for engineering. And they're like, cool, we get it. No worries. It was just a preferred walk-on, so it wasn't a big deal. I think it was 2 or 3 days before I graduated high school. We're having our senior farewell assembly, and I get a call from a coach at Cal Poly. So I step outside real quick, get on the phone. Hey, man, what's up? How's it going? And he's like, hey, buddy, here's the thing. Roster's full. We can't have you come out anymore. Spot's taken. Sorry, bud. Go to a junior college or something. We'll get you at the semester, all right. So go to junior college, freshman year. Terrible. Wasn't good. Reach out to the coach. Nothing. Never hear back.
Just
Ghosted me.
Wow.
Yeah. First of many. And they scholarshiped some other kid, and was just kind of left hang, basically. And, we had a pretty good junior college, DJ Reed plays for the Jets. We were teammates there. Kyle Pecco, he's a D lineman, I think with the Broncos now, maybe. He went there. So, it's a good program. So I figured, what, these other guys are getting looks. Someone will see me. No big deal. USC comes out before my sophomore season, and my head or offensive coordinator tells the scout, this kid's going to be an All-American punter. You guys are going to have him next year. And I was like, yo, USC, let's go. That'd be sweet. Go out, end up being an All-American that season. Reaching out to him, nothing. They scholarship some Australian kid who ended up losing his job the next season to walk-on freshman. And there was just nothing. I had an offer from Concordia University in Montreal, Canada, New Mexico, where I ended up going, and then Indiana State. And, I was expecting a little bit, I guess, bigger schools just with what I had done. Maybe my ego was just a little big and I didn't realize it. But, yeah, went to New Mexico. Junior year wasn't great. Senior year was pretty good. Got to play with Jason Sanders, Miami's kicker. We kind of helped push each other in a couple ways. And then, yeah, went undrafted, went to New England, ended up getting claimed by Buffalo and skip around country a couple times, and here I am.
That's respect. Yeah. Power in the story. The perseverance in there. Like I said, I know the road here wasn't easy, but you stayed with it. I know about the undrafted life. We had that in common. Was
Some
13?
Yeah.
13. And you're now what?
This is year 7 for me.
Year 7.
Yeah.
Define the odds.
Yeah. I mean, shoot, my rookie year, week 1, I think there was 8 starting rookie punters. And I think 3 or 4 of them were drafted. And I think there's 2 or 3 of us left, so.
And that's the difference, though, between our worlds, though, right? At my position, let's say, give or take, you keep 6, right? Maybe 6 safeties, 5 are active, 1 practice squad, maybe 4 or 5, whatever. In your world, it's 1.
There's one and we play forever. So it's
So good luck getting in somewhere.
yeah, it's you might have 2 or 3 spots of true rookies coming in that make a team. It took me 3 years it wasn't until my 4th year out that I finally made a 53.
Yeah. No idea
Out of
how
college.
I ever got
That's
this
always-
job. Wow. I didn't play in the preseason my rookie year. they helped me out. So
Yeah.
I'm sitting there like, oh, I'm just going to be on the practice squad. Go get a free ring, I guess. And then Buffalo said, nope, you're coming with us, pal.
Yeah.
6-10, baby.
Hey, we chasing for that ring this year, though.
No doubt.
But
Yeah,
good.
come on. All right, D Hop.
Let's see. Grew up playing. If it was a sport, I was in. Like, love playing sports. It was a huge part of my identity at that point. You know, like being good at sports was like part of who I was. And you know, played soccer, football from the earliest stage you can play either. And football, it was always like, hey, who can kick? And I'd be like, I can kick. And I feel like God had given me a gift to just kick a ball farther than my peers, even from a young age. It was just like, I can just kick a ball far. And so I'd kick for my football team and play soccer, but kicking was never like a primary thing. It was like my favorite player was either like Terrell Davis or Deion Sanders. You know what I'm saying? It was like,
I was a Deion fan growing up,
yeah,
prime
like-
time, yeah.
yeah, you know, like dudes, like
Yeah.
position players that were like doing stuff. You know?
Yeah.
So it was, I always thought like, man, I'll do that or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
And so then, you know, fast forward, I'm still doing both. Kicking's still a side thing. And I get hurt like my freshman year. And every time I'd go to sprint, it would feel like the injury would not go away. It felt like I did it yesterday. It was just like I would rest 2 weeks, do some PT, try to work my way running again, and it was still the same. Like, and when you're young like that, and sports are like a part of your world.
Yeah.
It was you know, we're grown now with kids. It doesn't matter, but at that point, it was like a big deal.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I could swing my leg through, and it didn't hurt to do. Like, so I couldn't run, but I could swing my leg. So I was like, well, if this is all I can do to be a part of a team, then like I'll become a better kicker. So I went to a camp, a kicking camp. Shout out Cole's Kicking. He's been my coach since then. But anyway, so go to a camp, and I was looking for instruction. I didn't even know that they did rankings at that time, but they have camps all over the country, and they did rankings. And so I went for instruction, got some instruction, and then after the fact, I think one of my parents were looking it up online, and they had ranked me like it was like 2 or 3 in the country or something like that. The very first time somebody had seen me, and so that kind of opened my eyes of like, yeah, maybe I could be a position player somewhere at like maybe a smaller school or something. I was like, or you can just walk in something that is clearly something that I was gifted at.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I think that's probably going to be the road to play major Division I football.
Yeah.
And so went that route, got a scholarship to Florida State. Met my wife there, so it was one of the best decisions I've ever made.
Yeah.
And the people there were awesome. It's a school that appreciates kickers because they've been on the bad and the good side of that. And now I'd argue we're kicker U. You know, I'd say, man, Janikowski, Graham Gano, Roberto Guayo, me, and there's some other good ones that, Scott Bentley, that touched the league, but
Okay.
there's a few of us.
All right.
You know?
Kicker you. Come on,
You
you
know,
heard
put
it
it
right
out
here.
there, put it
You
out
heard it
there.
right here. Dawgs Only podcast. Kicker you.
You know.
Somebody get that man, get that t-shirt
I'm going
going.
to get a T-shirt made.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Then bounced around the league, number of different teams, through injuries, good performances, bad performances. I was thinking about it the other day. I think maybe there's one. I don't think I've been picked up off waivers, but other than that, I think I've been a part of every type of transaction you can be a part of in the league. Like
Wow.
I've been on P Squad. Except never mind. I was drafted. I was on P Squad. I've been active, but on the non-active, like on game day. I've been on IR. I've been traded. It's like I've checked
Check
most of the
every box,
boxes.
yeah.
You know, so
12 years, you
it's
bound to do
that. It's crazy.
So obviously you're the only person here that was drafted. Sixth round, right? 6th round draft pick. Talk about that day. Like, how did that moment feel for you, your family? And honestly, I'm just gonna say the truth, because like, coming in, I was undrafted, 2012. I thought I had a chance to go to the Rams. They had like 6 picks, and one of them was they took a kicker.
And you were bitter, huh?
Oh my God! I said, what world are we living in where they took a kicker? over a skill position like me.
Yeah.
And I didn't know at that time, but it was my man Greg the Leg.
Yeah,
so much
yeah.
respect. The Greg's on line.
Greg's still going, baby.
And like yourself,
Doing it well.
you know. So I salute you. But how did it feel?
It felt awesome. I had my family and friends there. Shoot, even though it's like a low round, you feel like it's like you might as well have been a first rounder. Just the feeling.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I don't even think I don't think I drank it, but we had a bottle of champagne that I was like shooting off. I don't even think I had a drink, but it was still just like you know, like. So it's a good memory. See, the people you love and the time they don't know firsthand, but they know about as close as anybody. The time you invest, all of us, that you know how much you put into your craft to try to be as good as you can. Yeah. And those people are the ones that understand it the most, as closely as they can. And so to celebrate that moment with them is an awesome memory.
Yeah,
you know?
it's priceless.
Priceless. Yeah.
You know, to be honest with you, each of your positions we know on the team is valued, right? But like to the outside world, similar to your journey, and even you weren't once a kicker, or you didn't dream of being a kicker. You wanted the sexy role. The one that would ultimately be, you know, it's
I want to be like Rod. You know what I'm saying?
No. But honestly, you know, we know the value in which all of you guys serve and how important it is, and how each play that you're a part of, how it's magnified, right? Talk about like that level of pressure, because we all deal with pressure, you know, in each of our positions, but going out with 2 seconds on the clock, having to nail a 30-yarder, or going out for only, let's say, 2 punts a game, and your job is, you know what I'm saying, to change and flip position, right? Because the game is about field position, right? And you play a big role in that. And then obviously you, Charley, like it starts and ends with you every time. So talk about like that moment, and how do you handle like those clutch moments of pressure?
I mean, for me, it's a lot of deep breaths, man. Like I honestly do a lot of like breath work. Like standing on the sideline, you know that moment's coming up. I'm sitting there just like controlling the heart rate, controlling the breath, trying to stay level. And then kind of once you get out there, man, it really does kind of, for me at least, like turn into muscle memory. You try to just forget the situation, just like every other thing you do. And you just kind of go out there, and I throw it back there, and I just, you know, hoping the thing goes through. And luckily, Dustin, he's putting it through. So it's been a good feeling to know as long as I'm doing my job, I can trust these two guys to do theirs. Mm-hmm. And it's a fun way to win games. I mean, I'm sure it's probably a little stressful for everybody else, but I enjoy it, man.
Like, dudes is praying, kneeing, hugging dudes you've never even touched before. You name it gets done.
Like Charley was saying, you know, that muscle memory kind of kicks in.
I'm sitting there on the sideline, like I'm stressing. I'm trying not to. I'm stressing for sure. And then once you get on the field, you know, it takes over. But I'm leading up to it. I'm sitting there. I'm like, here we go, man.
Yeah, I like. It's a good mix between these guys for me. You know, and I think Charlie's making himself probably out to be more nervous than I feel like he puts off. At least he handles. It seems like he handles the situation well on the sidelines. Yeah. He's like a duck, you know, calm on the surface, his legs underneath. Come on.
Well, you notice I just stay snapping. Like I just keep warming up.
Stay busy.
That's my nervous energy. I just
4 seconds left in the game, and he's snapping in the net. It's like, Charley, we're done.
Okay. For me, I think I got like 2 perspectives. I think, and one of them was like a big picture. I'm like, eternally speaking, this kick does not matter. Does that make sense? Like it's like, man, like kind of like we mentioned earlier, as fathers, you understand that there are more important things going on in our life, and not that you don't want that and you want to enjoy that with your teammates. You want that for like, man, y'all are out there working hard. I want that for y'all as my team. And so it's not a lack of desire to do well, but it's more of, man, in the grand scheme of life and eternity, this is a very small thing, you know? And so that's one perspective. Another perspective also, big picture, is like, my bad day, an entire city hates me, okay? And some people hear that and they're like, well, that's horrible. And I'm like, I will just move cities, okay? Whatever. But like somebody else's bad day, like you're in the medical field, or you're a soldier, and I look at their bad days are so much worse than my bad days. Yeah. I'm like, I could handle that. Like, but like losing a friend or losing a patient or like, you know, those are tough days. So big picture, that's kind of how I like, I don't know, take the pressure off. It's just still just a game.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And then in that moment in college, there were times where, you know, you have a negative thought and you try to replace it and you're kind of having that mental battle. And there was a time where that didn't work. And then another time, like I was so confident, overly confident going into a kick, like, and it wasn't like fake. Like I really believed it, and that didn't work either. And so what I found is don't be results oriented. It's like be in that moment. And so all I'm thinking about as we're walking up, and well, let me backtrack. It's so nice not having to think about a snap or a hold. Like, because there's been times, sometimes you're like, I don't know what I'm about to get here. Mm-hmm. But having these guys on the front end, it makes, I don't think people out there realize, like, they know snapping and holding is important to a kick, but how vital, like, a good picture of the football is going in.
Yeah.
And these guys, like, were a huge part of our team's success, but also, like, my success because of how good they are at what they do. So, like, I'm really thankful for y'all, first of all.
It's all Charlie.
Come on, big three.
Starts with a snap.
Come on, man. Come on.
And so, but in that moment, all I'm thinking about are like, kind of like, I guess a golfer would call them swing thoughts. So it might be like, and it changes depending on the week, depending on what's working or not working leading up to that game. But it might be patient contact. And that sounds really simple, but I'm not smart enough to think of more than two things in my head at the same time. You know, so that's all. I'm just filling my head with those two things, reminding myself like, oh, in the swing, I want to do this. And if I'm focused in on that moment, on those swing thoughts, it doesn't guarantee that you're gonna make it, but it gives you the best chance that you have, I think.
Yeah.
It's kind of like what's the saying? You know, working hard doesn't guarantee that you'll win.
Yeah.
But it guaranteed that if you don't have a chance.
Correct.
Type of thing. So
It's funny. I think we all have to like think about something other than what we're actually like doing with our bodies. It's like, I'm not like thinking about like, oh, I just got to like throw it right there. Like I'm literally just focused on, I'll pick some little point on his elbow. And like, I'm just thinking about that point on his elbow and the ball. Just, you let your body do the rest. Like, I feel like in sports, at least for everybody, I think like if you're thinking about it, you're probably wrong.
Yeah.
You know? So like we probably all have our own little ways of like, thinking about something that's not actually what we're doing, if that makes sense. You know?
You know, I think what also brings like that level of calmness is routine and, you know, a regimen, right? So talk to us a little bit about on the day-to-day, like what does your general like routine look like in order for you to have that success, you know, come on Sundays?
I snap to the goalpost a little bit to warm up, and then I kind of just jump right into it, to be honest with you. Like, my warm-up's pretty short.
see, that's humble Charlie again. You know, like he lifts, he studies film.
That's what I'm saying. Like you study, like
bro,
yeah, like
I thought you were talking about like in the practice field.
In the off season, I'm walking in a couple days early, and I was like, "What are you doing here?" He's like, "Oh, I'm watching some tape."
Yeah.
I was like, "It's Priest didn't have me started. We haven't started training camp." I was like, "Man,
It's like how are you ensuring that those snaps are crisp? How you ensuring that you keep your seat, you feel me, year to year, like all of those things that contribute to this 13 years that you've been playing ball.
Well, I mean, if we want to go in the weight room, like I do take the weight room like very serious. Like,
Yeah.
You know, it's
It's a different job.
look at him.
Yeah,
you gotta be in coverage. You feel me? You gotta.
that's a mountain man right there." Yeah. Look at it.
well, no, I do think like that's how you make it through a season. Like you
Yeah.
can't just come in without lifting. Your body has to be used to the forces that, you know, come at you during the season. So like it starts there. You know, I'm snapping in the off seasons. Like I'll start snapping in March. Like I'll take like 2 months off and it's back to it. You know, even my poor wife's out there catching snaps for me in the off season sometimes. Like,
See, I'm telling you,
Yeah.
best teammate ever.
I'm telling you, man.
They
Like-
different.
She wears a wig to look like Corey.
She do whatever. Like,
no, and I mean like.
Jersey.
We try to get together in the off season, but it doesn't always work out. Like we're in different cities or whatever. But yeah, no, my wife she's been catching snaps for a long time.
She real.
Yeah.
that's the real one right there.
Yeah.
My wife snaps for me, or she used to. Now we got the baby on.
Wow.
On my own. But I try to keep practice exactly what I do warming up for a game. You know, so I go through no steps, 1 steps, and then full step punts. I do 6 of each direction. Do the same thing at practice. And then after that, I kind of, depending what the wind is, you know, just try to get a feel for what it's doing at different spots on the field, so I know when I have to switch to Aussie ball, you know, that backspinning one.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, catching those. And yeah, I mean, I just kind of figure out what it's doing that day, if anything, you know, and then kind of have a general plan going into the game, and then just kind of wing it, see what happens.
Put it up there, see what happens.
Speaking of being humble, this guy's throwing himself out there like he's just not.
Yeah, just wing it, man, and just throw bombs. I just wing it.
It's a beautiful part of his play. It's just like, I'm going to go out there and do the thing.
Just do whatever.
Yeah.
It's that Cali life. Yeah,
Hey, it works for a lot of guys, though, I will say.
yeah.
I feel like at our position, I mean, playing in Cleveland, you know, you'll get a 30, 40 mile an hour wind. You know, I was in Buffalo for 3 years. I mean, holy smokes. Like, you almost have to, like, not care, but like just accept what's going on and just like, listen, it is what it is at this point. I can't.
There's only so much you can do.
Yeah, so all those indoor guys out there,
Corey's jealous. That's what he meant.
one day.
No, I do remember one time we're lining up and you're punting out of the dog pound end zone, and I'm lining up. I'm looking between my legs at you, and a gust out of hell just comes out of nowhere, and it's like it went from like 20 miles per hour to like 50 miles per hour, just out of nowhere.
Is that the Tampa one?
I don't know.
Laker
Dude, I don't remember games. I just remember the
every home
situation. And I look between my legs, and Corey's like,
Please don't
stop. Like, hold on, wait. I look up at the play clock, and I'm like, we got to go, dude. Like,
That thing moved 5 feet from the left to the right. And it
yeah,
was-
I tried to wait as long as I could, and I was like, this gust ain't stopping, dude. It's coming. Like,
and you just wing it. And hey,
yeah.
that's it.
And you just got natural hands. Now, think about it. You forget about that piece. Like,
I know these guys, Coop, David, they think they're great at catching.
Okay.
Sure, go ahead. I got the most receptions on the team every year. If you count all the punts and field
Speak
goals,
on it.
I will
Without a
catch
drop.
anybody on the team
without a drop.
without a drop. I don't need gloves. They all use gloves. I don't use gloves.
I used to operate the jugs machine for him every day.
A lot of 14-yard receptions.
Bam. That's a lot of yards.
14 and a half? What is it?
Depends on the day.
Oh, okay. We're on routine, right? Yeah.
Do we have enough time?
Yeah. All right. No,
Longest warm up routine in the NFL.
they're giving me a hard time.
Hey, whatever. Do what you gotta
It is
do.
long. It
do
is
whatever
long.
you gotta do.
It is long.
Hey, you
Hey,
make
I
them
just
kicks,
know we're close
take
to
as
you
long as
kicking when you
want.
put the footballs under your butt and you're like sitting on them. Yeah.
Stretch the ankles out.
Yeah.
You know, Rod, maybe you can relate to this a little bit. Okay. I feel like the longer you play, there are certain parts of your body you got to warm up that maybe you didn't have to warm up when you were
I'm
22.
there. I'm there.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm definitely there.
So as you go through and maybe you're like, oh, there was a piece of maintenance that I had to do for X amount of time. It kind of gets added to your warm up.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how mine over the years is kind of like one thing gets added, another thing gets added, and now here we are.
Nothing got deleted.
nothing got deleted. I kept it. So we got that. I got a long warm up. All right, I get it, guys.
Okay.
And I think guys I'd previously played with would say the same thing.
It works.
Yeah.
Hey man, you make them.
This guy talking about
Take as long as you
because at
want.
the end of the day, it got you paid, right? It got you
Why are you
paid.
gonna do that on here, man?
No, that's where we going. That's where we going. Both of you guys. This is very high price.
Dude, Corey got our dinner last night.
Oh,
I'm too poor to be paying.
We did the credit card roulette. Corey lost.
I love it.
Some of us hurt more than others, but
That's us trying to be like the DBs, man.
Nah.
Play a little credit card roulette.
Hey, that's just a staple. That's just a staple in the league in general.
What's your strategy? You got a strategy?
For roulette,
Yeah.
I play last man standing.
That's what we did.
Okay, yeah. It's really no strategy. I probably do throw in the card that has a little different material than the rest.
Like
See, that's how you
better.
get picked.
Huh?
That's how you get picked.
Yeah, but I'm last man standing, right? So it's like you keep going until whatever the last card is that's in there is the one that.
See, I put
that has
my
to-
I've got a metal card and I've got a plastic card. The
Yeah.
metal card I never put in there because it like sinks to the bottom of the hat, and then they end up picking out
And I feel
last.
like they might think if they feel the metal card, like this person should pay.
Yeah.
this bill.
It's a normal card. It just happens to be a metal.
Probability is different though for you guys. 3 versus maybe a group of 15.
Yeah.
Well, but then the implications are much lower for us compared to a group of 15.
That's true.
I'm not going to dinner with
Yeah,
y'all.
I think I've only got picked
$300.
selected once for credit card roulette. Maybe one time.
13 years?
Yeah, one time.
Man.
In the times I played.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm good.
I've had some
But I
bad
do
ones.
right by my. I do right
Give me
by
some of
my.
that
I
love.
do right by my guy. So I think God just looks out. You know, snatched it from me. No need. He took care of it at a different time. Okay, not this time.
Yeah.
Somebody else needs to do it.
Right.
We on the topic of the money. We on the topic of this money.
I
All
thought
this
we
money
skirted
that's
around. I thought we
this
skirted
money
around.
that's sitting here. No, like honestly, like how does that feel for you guys? You know, for the organization to honor you with, you know, both, you know, new deals.
I mean, it's the first time I've re-signed somewhere, you know. So I'm grateful for that, to be able to stay in one place, especially with the family now. Like, I mean, it was hard enough moving with 2 dogs and my wife, you know, and I got traded. Like, that was just a disaster. So having a baby now, just, you guys all get it, you know. But to stick with these guys, keep this group going, working with Bubba and Bravo and this team, kind of where the direction of the team's going, it's good.
Yeah, to echo some of what Corey said, I think anytime a team has a desire to bring you back is like, that's a good feeling.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
it's corny, but it's like, it's nice to be wanted. You know, I think as a player,
We all want that.
yeah, you want that, you know? So I think a huge part for me was just how the team has treated me from day one coming in. Like, as soon as I got traded, I felt like I was welcomed here, like in a way that no other team, I don't know, had welcomed me before. So from the very jump to how they've, I don't know, I feel like in a lot of ways prioritized family more than other places I've been. That's a huge piece for me of wanting to be a part of what we have here culturally.
Yeah.
In addition to that, of like all the pieces we have in place, it's exciting. You want to be a part of a winning team. And I think another piece of that is you want to be paid what we talked about, all the work you put in, how much you invest, not just physically and mentally, but like emotionally in your craft, you know? So you want to be paid in a way that you feel like, oh man, I feel like I'm with like in this tier guys or whatever. And I know some guys want to set the market. For me, it was just a matter of wanting to be in a group that I thought was like, oh, these are a section of upper echelon kickers that I feel like I'm a part of. And like you said, I just do feel very honored that like the organization, like we saw eye to eye on that, you know? So, and shoot, the fan base, not to mention, like I've been a part of some fan bases, some really good, some not as good. And to go out there on a day that is like, let's be honest, the weather is horrible a lot. And for them to be like, yo, we're going to fill this place up still. We're going to be loud and we're going to stay for the whole game. Is like, as a player, that means a lot when your fan base is committed.
For sure.
So that's a really nice aspect too.
Yeah. A dog pound real. You know all about it. You
Yeah.
know, longest tenured, you know what I'm saying, player on the team.
Joel's got me by a couple months, but yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And
Hey, give credit where it's
and
due
you're
now.
the oldest on the team.
Am I?
Yeah, people tend to think I'm the
You're like,
oldest.
don't put that out there.
People tend to think that I'm the oldest, so I got to get it off of me. I'm just going to toss it to you. But honestly, though, like that is a huge, you know, badge of honor and respect from the organization and peers. Like, how does that feel? Like knowing that you've been a part of this organization for the past, you know, 13 years.
I mean, we're definitely blessed to, like, you know, Corey kind of touched on it. You know, Dustin touched on it, like moving your family around. Like we've been blessed to be in one place. Like all of my kids have been born in Cleveland. Like there's no matter how long we're here, like Cleveland's always going to have a part in our life, like a part of our family history. Like it's just going to be a part of us now forever.
Yeah.
So like it's always going to have a spot in our heart. And like you guys were saying, like the fans, you can't beat them. Like it don't matter how cold it is, don't matter if it's raining, don't matter. Like they're out there. And like, especially like coming from the seasons where, you know, things weren't necessarily going great to like where they are now, like it's definitely like you have like a blessed feeling of like, you realize like wins are hard to get, you know what I mean? And so like now that we have like a team with some talent that can really do something, you know, it's just like, it's a great feeling.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. Man, I just got one last question for you guys. We call this our dog moment. And it really speaks to being able to overcome an obstacle, a challenge, like I said earlier, there is no straight line, to reaching the top of that mountain, right? And knowing that we are a 1%er, and we didn't get here on an easy track. So if you can think of like that one moment in your career or even in life where you had to channel that inner dog that lives inside of all of us, what would that be?
I mean, tell me if I'm on the right track here. Right. I mean, for me, it was like at one point in my career, I was with Dallas my first 2 camps. The second camp I got cut, and I didn't play in the preseason. I got cut before the games. And I was a free agent for 10 months. Didn't hear a call, didn't hear nothing. I thought I was probably done. Got a random call from the Patriots. They had a scout in Tampa who called me. He said, meet me at this park. We're going to do a workout. And I was like, cool, Almost didn't bring a football because I thought this was an NFL workout. Like, footballs. But it's a good thing I did because he didn't have a football.
That would have been an awkward interaction.
What?
He did not have a football. He grabbed a lady who was playing basketball to come catch my snaps. And I ended up getting signed off of that.
Wow.
Got cut 2 weeks later. And I thought at that point, I was like, all right, I'm going to dental school. Like, I'm done. And got called from Jacksonville. A couple weeks later, I'm in the library studying up for my exam. And I didn't even answer the phone because I was like, finally, set my life a certain way. Like, I'm moving on. Mm-hmm. I immediately called my girlfriend, now wife, and was like, Jacksonville's calling me. Like, what do I do? And she was like, what do you mean, what are you going to do? And I was like, I want to go to dental school now. Like, I'm moving on. And she was like, you're going to regret that for the rest of your life. And I went to Jacksonville, had the best camp of my life at the time.
Yeah.
And started making practice squads and eventually ended up here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was a big moment for me.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Going into my 3rd season, I was in another competition. This is actually the first season I haven't had another punter in camp. It's weird. And going into my 3rd season, Buffalo is a very, very high competitive team. They got competitions going on all the time throughout the day. OTA's training camp, that's just what they do. And, they push us a lot. And, I didn't have a great second season, a lot of weather that we dealt with. And going into my 3rd season, it was kind of, last year rookie contract, make or break basically, and the guy was real good. Best punter I'd competed against, at the time. Somehow, beat him out. It was during that COVID year, so we didn't have like a real training camp preseason and all that. They cut him, and I thought, okay, cool, like I got it. And then they signed another punter like a day later or something like that. And it just kind of felt like no matter what I did, I was always having to fight. No matter what I performed, they're always going to do something. And so it was like, at that point, it was kind of like, you know what, like, F it. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to do my thing. Going to work hard. They bring someone else in, they're just wasting their time, basically, is kind of how I took it. And, ended up beating them out, led the league in punting that year, and signed somewhere else. That was good.
Hey.
Professionally, I'd say in 2014, I was out of the league for like 15 weeks, which like you're sitting at home and like I was doing PT trying to get right. And I finally get healthy with 3 weeks left in the season. And I tell my agent to like, hey, if anybody's interested, tell them I'm healthy enough to do a workout, because I didn't do a workout earlier because I knew if I wasn't healthy, the NFL is a small place anyway, but especially in the specialist community, like you said earlier, there's only so many coordinators, there's only so many players, and I knew if I put a bad look on tape in a tryout, that word would get around. So I wanted to be healthy. So I got healthy finally, had him put word out, had a tryout with the Saints, and they ended up signing me to P Squad the last 2 weeks of that season. But it was a long road when you're on the couch and you're like, well, there's times where it's like, I don't know if this football thing's going to work out. As you could try to do everything you can do within your control, but there's questions, And so, I would say that time frame of trying to get healthy and the question of, hey, is this thing going to happen? And now to fast forward and look back on it, it's, I don't know, it's cool. It's cool to look back on those moments.
Yeah.
And it kind of, you said a phrase earlier, but basically it was like how how those moments, tough times help make like right now so much sweeter.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
you didn't say it quite that way, but it was something. It was,
Yeah, I like it.
yours was
I
a
like-
little.
I like-
I think
I like
yours was
that.
nicer.
I like that.
But yeah, I'd say that, and then personally, I'd say like my son is special needs. He's on the autism spectrum, and I think my wife is an all-star. She's like a hero of mine. But as a father, when that happens, I think you have a picture of what life will look like as a dad. Like you're like, man, I'm gonna play catch with my son in the front yard. I'm gonna do all of these things. And it's not that he can't accomplish those things at some point, maybe, but it's this understanding that, hey, life is gonna look different. It's not better or worse. It's just different.
Yeah.
And we're gonna enjoy like the gifts and the moments we have, even though it's different than the picture of the life that you had in your mind beforehand. If that makes sense. So
No.
I'd say just gearing up for fatherhood is what is it called? The dog moment?
Yeah, dog.
The dog moment,
Dog
just
moment.
like, hey, like being a present father every day.
Yeah.
Like I think we all try to be.
Yeah. Nah, man. It's appreciate each of y'all for sharing. And it's beauty in all of our struggle. You know what I'm saying? But it's a part of us. It lives within us and it's made us who we all are sitting here today. So much respect. Before we get out of here, we got some questions from a few of our fans. I'm just going to give y'all one apiece.
All right.
Are these like quick hitters?
Yeah, these are quick hitters.
All right.
These are easy, you know, as
Layups.
nothing. Yeah. Lighthearted, fun. Let's go in reverse order here. We're going to start with D-Hop. Who's the funniest guy on the team?
Right now, I'd say James. For sure. Like, I feel like it's not even that close right now.
For sure.
James is so funny, man. I love him. Yeah.
I would agree. And that was from Aiden Blandon. He asked who's the funniest guy on the team. This is from Noah Bolton Lee. What is a personal goal for this season for you?
Be a first team All-Pro. It's been close a couple times, so I think this might be the year.
Let's do it.
I'll wing it.
Manifest.
Wing it.
All right, Charley. This is from. Looks like I can't tell what this is, but we just going to What is the matchup you're most excited for this year?
I always get excited to play the Ravens, man. Always. It's between the Ravens and the Steelers, but I always get excited to play the
Keep it
Ravens.
in the division.
No doubt.
Yeah,
No doubt.
I like it, man. That is all we have for today. I appreciate you guys for, man, taking some time out for, you know what I'm saying, everybody to get to know you just a little bit more. So it was an honor and a pleasure. Appreciate y'all.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
We have released the dogs, and that's all we have for today. This is your host, OG Rod, and tune in next time to the Dawgs Only podcast.